Alrighty. Good morning and good afternoon, everyone. I believe we are now officially live. So first of all, I would like to say a massive welcome to everyone that is joining us today on the live stream, and also thanks for joining us a little bit in the future to everyone who's downloading or watching this after the fact. So today is the third session of the second annual Cassandra World Party. My name is Ben Bromhead, and I'm super excited to have everyone here today. First, a little bit about me. I've been involved in the Apache Cassandra community since about 2012, so a very long time. I worked for a company called Instacluster. We did manage Cassandra hosting, but we've also gone on to do other things, and I'm just super excited to be part of the broader Apache community today. One of the things I really love about Apache Cassandra is, it's the tool that you reach for when you've kind of hit the big time, right? Sometimes I hear people talk about it as a database of last resort. But I actually think that that's a good thing, right? It kind of it means that you've kind of hit the big time, right? And I'm here today with my co-host Eric Ramirez, who will introduce himself very soon. And the key goal for these set of talks is, one, to get the community together, two, to get a little bit excited about the upcoming Cassandra 4.1 release. Which, hopefully this session doesn't go off the guardrails. I know it won't, because 4.1 has a new set of guardrails in it, which we are very excited to have. The other thing that I will quickly remind everyone of is, as this is a community event, while you're interacting with each other, asking questions, just please keep in mind and abide by the ASF Code of Conduct. With that, I will hand over to Eric and allow him to introduce himself.
Thanks, Ben. Eric Ramirez. Haven't been quite around Cassandra as long as Ben, so I stumbled onto Cassandra back in 2013. So officially, I'm a Cassandra enthusiast at DataStax, and I've been privileged enough to have been made a committer for the project last year. So very excited about the talks that are happening today. So we're going to have talks from Lily, Manish Kandawal, and hopefully I say this correctly, Michelle Selen, Lakan Samani, and Guo Wen Hong. So we're going to have 5 exciting talks coming up. And we'll also be having a bit of fun right at the very end. We're going to do a quiz. And hopefully, you get bragging rights if you hit the leaderboard, the top 10 leaderboard at the end of the quiz. So for those who are joining us and watching the recording, this is a live stream that we're streaming on YouTube as well. And at the end of the presentation, it will automatically be recorded and uploaded to YouTube using the same link. So let's get on with the show. On to Ben.
Awesome. Thanks, Eric. Before we do get onto our first speaker today, I also just want to say a big thank you to our 2 sponsors for this event today. The first one is Axon Ops, and the second is DataStax. A massive thank you to both of those. Of course, these community events do depend on sponsors. So, a big shout out to the both of those for sponsoring today's and yesterday's events, right? So our first speaker today is Lily, comes from NetEase Udao, a Chinese online education company. They're a Java developer and passionate about Apache Cassandra. Lily, I will hand over to you, and please fill out your introduction or bio if I've missed anything there.
Hello.
How you going, Lily? So tell us a little bit about yourself.
I will start. 大家好，我们 用 Cassandra 主要用在的是在线教育公司，然后我现在是就职于网易，然后今天主要分享的是 Cassandra 在教育行业里面的应用。然后那 Cassandra 特别吸引我的地方是它融合了单机的谷歌 Big Table 的模型，啊、那个以及分布式的 Delmon 的特性，而这两个特性的融合，我觉得Cassandra 的架构是非常的酷，我觉得可以从中学到非常多的东西，而这个架构也是比较的先进。嗯，谷歌的 Big Table 的数据模型，首先它是一个宽列的一个数据结构所以可以啊、那那那所以所以可以存储非常多的列，而且它是一个多维的 map，并且它是反范式化的一个设计，以及它是 LSM tree 的这种存储引擎所以它的写入性能是非常的强的。嗯，而它使用了 Delmon 的一个分布式的架构，首先它的特点是去中心化的，并且是无共享的架构，而且它的一致性是可以调节，并且它在节点扩缩的时候，它使用的一致性哈希，这样就可以去减少它数据的迁移，而且它的成员间的变更是通过gossip 协议，并且它总是可写的这种的高可用的架构，所以它们架构是非常的先进，以及很吸引我。然后像我们公司主要用Consider 去存储那个学生的一些数据，然后主要解决了那个学生数据的海量存储，并且去解决了它可以高效的写入以及很快速的去读取到这个数据。我们主要用这个去建模用户端的学生的数据。然后我们学生端主要用我们的 APP 用来去学习课程以及去考试，而我们主要用 Consider 去存储学生的学习时间，还有他的考试的答案，还还有学习进度以及他现在当前的学习环节。而像一般比较复杂的聚合搜索的话，我们会把 Consider 数据给存到 ES 里面，然后这样就可以避免了 Consider 的二级索引。然后像复杂搜索以及聚合都是用 ES 做的，然后解决大量的数据，主要是因为像每一个学生他有非常多的课，而每个课有很多学科，而学科下有很多环节，而环节里面又有考试，而考试里面又有非常多的问题，然后学生会做卷子，然后我们线上的一个预估的数据量是学生乘以产品，然后乘以课程，然后乘以学科，然后乘以环节，再乘以考试，然后再乘以问题，然后它的数量规模是上亿级别的一个数据规模如果用户量再扩充10倍的话，那么它的数据会变得非常多。然后还有就是它的写入性能是非常的好的，然后它可以在所有节点去写入，并且它读取的时候，因为我们读取的是一个学生的维度所以学生的 ID 是被用来设计为它的分区 K 的。这样的话，对于 C 端的用户，他就可以非常快速的去获取到他自己的数据。嗯，Thanks。
Awesome. Thanks so much,
嗯
Lily. It's really, really awesome to have you present and talk a little bit about Apache Cassandra in
嗯
education. And, it's also really great to see a little bit of, Chinese language content as well for the broader community that are joining us today. So thanks so much for that. One thing that I did forget to kind of illustrate to everyone that's joining us today.
嗯
These are lightning talks. So that means that our speakers only have 5 minutes. They only have 10 slides. And it does auto advance every 30 seconds, right? If they have 5 slides, it's auto advance every 1 minute. If you do run out of content, you can always sing and dance. But look, thanks so much, Lily. And I'll hand over to Eric to introduce our second speaker for today.
Thank you very much.
Thanks, Lily. All right, so next up we've got Manish Kandawal. So I've known Manish for a couple of years now. He's very helpful, particularly on Stack Overflow. So Manish is a consultant, Cassandra consultant at Ericsson. Manish, do we have you on the call? Yes. Hi Manish, good to see you again. How you going?
Hi, Eric. Good to see you again. Hi, Ben. Can you hear me?
Loud and
Yes,
clear.
awesome. Good to have you here.
Yeah. Thank you. Okay. Yeah. So, hello everyone. I will be speaking upon how did we use SS table immutability for incremental backup. A disclaimer here is that I'm not going to talk about the backup incremental backup provided by Cassandra. It's just kind of a tweak in the full backup we did for getting the similar results. So before going to how we should say why we are doing that, so we have a use case that which requires us to keep two backups at a time. So we should have enough space to keep two backups in our backup disk space. So generally we dimension the product like that only, but over the period of time, the data disk fills up, and so this use case we were not able to fulfill for one of the customer. So now at runtime we have to solve the problem. So what we thought that we asked the customer to either increase the disk space or find a solution to fit 2x data in 1.5 disk space. So what we did that we started looking out for the solution because the customer declined to increase the data disk size. So we saw the data SS tables, and we found that old SS tables were of very large size and they were quite old, and so we identified that most of the data is again copied in the second backup. So we now knew that we don't need to copy the complete data. So before going to the solution, we'll see what are the SS tables. SS tables are the files which Cassandra stores data from the table. SS table is created result of a flashing of mem table and compaction process. They are immutable, so once written, they will not be updated till the compaction is over, and they have a format, version, generation ID, format, component, and text. The generation ID is basically used for differentiating the SS tables. So this is the part which we should keep in mind, that generation ID. And how the Cassandra backup process, we take it the full backup, we just trigger the node tool snapshot command, and it creates a snapshot on all the nodes. What node should snapshot is basically, it creates a hard link of all the SS tables in your a parallel directory to the your within your tables directory. So it will be, the hard links are just basically a link to the existing file inode. So they do not take much space, and they are created pretty fast. So we use this both concept, the immutability of SS tables and hard links, for solving our problem. So what we did, basically we created a backup first, the full backup, and before taking the second backup, we created another directory in the backup directory called backup 2, for example, and we just hard linked all the SS tables from backup 1 to the backup 2, and then before taking the backup 2, means before triggering the backup 2 from the real data directory, what we did, now we have backup 1 and backup 2, which are quite similar. So when we trigger the backup 2 from the data directory, what we make sure that we did not copy the files already in the backup 2, and we removed the files which were not in the data directory. So now backup 2 was the actual full backup, but kind of an delta backup. So we saved the space using this process, and this speeded up our backup process, because now we could take, we have to copy only 5% or 10% of data for each incremental backup, and we have a multiple backup copies can be kept, and all copy can act as a full backup in itself. So Cassandra 4.1 has introduced a feature which can be used to enhance this feature, which is global unique identifiers. So we can have earlier the access tables were incremented in their uh, 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 wave by the Cassandra. So, but that was, if you terminate the truncate the table, the numbers will be, generation ID will be again repopulated. So that may create a problem. So now you can use the enable unique identifiers in SS tables, so that can help in basically uh, uh, overcoming this problem, that you will always have a unique SS table identifiers for
Well,
your Cassandra SS tables. So this
alrighty.
feature can also be used for
Thanks for that,
Cassandra
Manish.
4.1.
Unfortunately, it is a lightning talk, so we do have to cut you off there. But no, thanks so much for covering that. It was really
Thank
awesome to
you.
hear about the incremental backup process there. So thanks so much for presenting and covering that topic. Next
Thank you,
up,
Ben.
no worries, mate. So next up, we have, let me just bring up my list. We have, now, please tell me if I'm pronouncing this correctly. We have Michelle Salin, Solutions Architect from Skyline Communications, talking to us today about monitoring Cassandra. So over to you, Michelle. We have 5 minutes. Your time starts when the slides are up.
Hello, can you hear me?
Perfect.
Yes, perfect.
Okay. Hi, everyone. My name is Michiel Salen. I had the privilege to be part of the Skyline Communications team for 5 years now. During that time, I started to learn about Cassandra by investigating issues mainly. And from that moment onwards, I had a growing interest for Cassandra, how it works, and also how it should be used. Then the main product of Skyline Communications is Data Miner. Our CEO has a very long description for our product, but in short, Data Miner monitors and control any device or system that has a way of communicating with it. Could be HTTP, SNMP, serial, or any form of API. With Data Miner, you can reserve equipment in your system, functions of the equipment through bookings, run scripts that configure your complete end-to-end chain. For service delivery, you can aggregate statuses and alarms to the complete chain, and that's just the tip of the iceberg. Yeah, on the previous slide, you saw some aggregated results, and use cases can also be checked on our community platform with the link there. On Data Miner, we push up to 800,000 monitoring points per second towards our database. And we make use of Cassandra and Elastic for our software to ensure that the database is not running into any trouble. We monitor the database with our own product. In the background, we are using the C# driver to connect to the Cassandra system, and then we perform SQL queries to get the statistical data out of it. Here you can see a overview of all the tables that are in Cassandra that we retrieve through SQL. All this information, as I said, is retrieved through SQL, pushed into Data Miner, and here you can also see we have a column repair checks. That's something we will come back on later. From Cassandra, Cassandra 4.0, we have virtual tables, for which we are very grateful to everyone that helped to make this possible. Prior to 4.0, if we want to get all of the valuable data out of it, we had to set up remote scripting, remote JMX, which could be a very large challenge to do this in a secure way. Here we can see an example of such virtual tables. So we iterate over all of the nodes to get the data, and we can join them into one big table, so it's easy to compare the different nodes. And on the size column, you saw there was a trend icon. So if we click on that, we can bring up also the historical data of it. And here you can see for 3 nodes how it's progressing over time. So we can easily see what happened in the past on the nodes, but we can also predict a bit towards the future if we will run into problems and scale the system if needed. Another interesting virtual table for us is the settings table. which allows us to easily detect anomalies between configuration and settings. So here you can see that if we search for authentication, we see password authenticator is enabled on all of our nodes. So we can easily see if there would be one node that has a missing configuration on there. We're also looking, on the left side, you can also see a lot of other pages that we cannot cover here in this lightning talk, but we're also looking to expand the driver towards the future. And one of the things that we also introduced in this driver is system checks. So all of the data that we retrieve from the system, we are evaluating and then giving suggestions to the operators. So here we have three checks that failed on the system. We have a repair check where we check if the tables were repaired within the GC grace seconds. That was the column that you can disable for every table, so that if you have, for example, a GC grace seconds, which is very low for hinted handoff, that you don't get false alarms. And then immediately you know if there is something wrong. And there were also some other checks as well that we're also planning to expand. Here at last, I also want to give you an overview of what we have done with data miners. So we have over 1,500 customers, 9,000 systems, and 125 countries that have data miner deployed. And some of our key customers can be found on this wall here. Probably you know a couple of them. And if you have any questions, they can be made on our community platform. You can search also through our questions. There are already also a broad variety of use cases on our community platform, or you can also send mails directly to me if you have any questions. Thank you for listening, and also thank you for letting me speak on this lightning talk. It was very inspiring.
That's awesome, Michelle. Really amazing work. So I'm really interested in the fact that you're already taking advantage of the virtual tables. I'm gonna have to catch up with you at some point to talk about maybe doing a series of blog posts on the Cassandra website, because I think this is going to be awesome. And in fact, that goes for all the other speakers as well, all the other presenters. Yeah, so looking forward to collaborating with you and getting some content up about data miner on the Cassandra website. Ben?
That is me, yes. So I believe I'm introducing the next speaker. Is that correct, Eric? Actually,
no, it is my turn. So next up, we have Lakan Samani, who's a cloud software engineer at ArangoDB. So ArangoDB is new to me, so it's a multi-model database that does graph and key value and document store. So have we got Lakan on yet? Here we go.
Yeah. Hey guys, can you hear me?
Lakan, welcome. Yes, we can hear you. Go ahead.
Awesome. Thank you so much. Hey everyone. So I'm Lakan Samani. I'm creator of Authorizer, and I also work as a cloud software engineer at ArangoDB. What is Authorizer? So Authorizer is an open source solution for authentication and authorization with a mantra of your data, your control. So we have built it like in a database agnostic manner. So what was my motivation behind building the Authorizer 1? Authentication is part of each and every application out there. And literally whenever I had to, build an application, I had to write it either from scratch or use some third-party solutions out there. But third-party solutions come with a cost, like the price scales as the user base grows. There are data privacy issues. You have to learn their APIs and implement something extra, right? So for example, if you're using Auth0, you have to learn Auth0 APIs. So yeah, that's why you should consider using Authorizer, because one, it is open source and free to use. You can bring in your database and have control over your user data. Your data will remain with you. It supports 12 plus database, including Cassandra DB, SkylarDB, Postgres, MongoDB, ArangoDB, and much more. Can we go to the next slide, please? Thank you. So what else it does give you? It gives you role-based access management out of the box. You have secure session management using HTTP only cookies. And it also has like PKC flow, which is very useful if you are implementing authentication using mobile devices. Uh, it supports multiple auth recipes like Google login, GitHub login, basic authentication, Magic Link login. And it also comes with a lot of integrations, like you have JavaScript SDK, you have React SDK, so you can build your own page using that SDKs. It also comes with a dashboard and a universal login page. So, if you don't want to build your login page, you can just copy paste some 3 lines of code and you will have your authentication ready. You also get multiple deployment options, like you can deploy it with Docker, Kubernetes, Heroku, Railway, Render. You can also deploy like a microservice on VM. It is developed using modern stack and it uses Golang in the backend. So let's see how you can use it with Apache Cassandra. All you have to do is configure one database variable called database type and name it Cassandra DB. And then rest of the variables are just the database variables like host name, username, password, and certificates. And that's all. Yeah, if you configure this environment variable and start authorize a service, you are ready to go. It will create some 3 to 4 databases, 3 to 4 tables or collections in your DB, and you will have a solution ready out of the box. These are some of the resources that you can check out, like the docs, YouTube playlist, examples. You'll get everything. You can also join our Discord community and feel free to reach out to me, ask any questions you have. And yeah, that's all.
Hey,
That's
thanks so much.
amazing.
Yeah, that looks awesome. I love these kind of like no code, low code solutions to problems that people find themselves solving every time they start a new product or a new SaaS or a new something. And I love that this
Exactly.
works with Cassandra. So
Exactly.
yeah, hats off to you, Lacan.
Thank you so much, and thank you for this opportunity on giving a talk. Thank you so much.
Cool.
We'll be chasing you up for a blog post too.
Definitely. Would love to do that.
Awesome. Cool. All right. Well, so we are now down to our final lightning talk. The last set of speakers have all been amazing. Some really, really interesting content. I know that my notebook, I've filled a page with everything that I've kind of learned today and things that I need to go follow up on. And I'm looking forward to reading those blog posts as well, that they're all going to do and all put up on Planet Cassandra, if I'm not mistaken. So the final speaker we have today is Goen Hong from NetDragon. And today they are talking to us about Apache Cassandra in a instant messaging application. So I think we have Gwen joining just now. Over to you. Your time starts now.
Go ahead, Goen.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yep, perfect.
Perfect.
Okay. So, hello everybody, and I'm Hong Guowen, and I'm a senior software engineer from NetDragon web software company from China. And my topic is the practice of Cassandra and instant messaging application. And now I will start. Hello? Can you hear me now?
Loud and clear.
So can I start?
Go for it. Yep, you can start.
Okay. Oh, sorry. So we have developed an application for years, and 2015 we redesigned it for some reasons. as a part of our new design, we introduced a Cassandra cluster, and the cluster has been running in our production for 7 years since then, right? And one of the reasons we rebuilt our application was to solve the problem we had encountered before. There had been some situations of our application in 2015. One of that was a user of our application might have a large number of conversations. In our application, we define the conversation as an entity in which user can chat with other members, and then the number of user conversations was growing larger and larger. Actually, it was common for our users to have hundreds of conversations, and that result in a higher cost of our users login request. Second, there were situations in which a large number of users might log into applications simultaneously. So, for example, a lot of students might use our application to attend live online courses at the same point of time. And it was challenging for our application to handle the high load of login requests. So we have to optimize the login process of our application. And the key part of the optimization were message synchronization and the storage. Before 2015, we used MySQL as the message storage. We used sharding nodes, making some effort to spread workloads across a number of MySQL instances, and it was not so convenient to scale out. For message synchronization, our application needs to pull messages from the user's conversation one by one. So when the number of users' conversation increase, the cost of the login requests become higher, right? And as a solution, we use Cassandra for message resolution instead. And we also optimize the message synchronization as the diagram shows. We design an inbox for each user. Messages from users' conversation will be pushed into inboxes so that when user log in, the application just need to pull messages from only one inbox. It simplifies the login process and reduce the cost of message synchronization, right? And from the perspective of the conversation, as the drawback, we every message sent to the conversation will be pushed all members' inbox. It means that the right operation will be amplified for by n times, and stands for the number of conversation members. It might be large, and then the right application becomes a new challenge we have to overcome. As you can see, we choose Cassandra as our solution. So the most important reason for us to choose Cassandra was for its high write throughput. We can say that without the infrastructure like Cassandra that can handle high write throughput, we might not choose the design of user inbox. It was a decisive factor for our design. The second reason was for its scalability, and we can easily scale out the cluster with no pain to accommodate the higher workload and the growing storage. And we choose Cassandra also for its availability. It was important to us. Now I'll talk about how we use Cassandra. First, we designed a table to store conversation message, and we use a conversation ID as the partition key and the conversation message ID as the clustering key. The conversation message ID was a consecutive within a conversation that enables us clients to guarantee the data integrity, and also allow us to pull messages by range query at a low cost. And then we designed another table to store user inbox messages. We use user ID as the partition key and the user inbox message ID as clustering key. And user inbox message data was also consecutive for one user. The data of this table would be large. However, we don't have to keep them all over time. So we start a time window compression strategy and let the data expire after a period of time to prevent the data from growing too fast. Right. And at last, for the write throughput, we did some tests, and you can see that from this table that we write through the write throughput of the cluster grow linearly along with the cluster size. Okay, and that's all. Thank you for listening. Thank you.
Awesome. Thanks so much for that. Go on.
Hello.
I love it. I love it. When I see others solving scale problems, that's fantastic. I was having a conversation with someone before, and they were saying that Cassandra is hard, and I said, look, Cassandra isn't the hard part. The hard part is the problem that you're trying to solve, because you have a scale problem. It wasn't.
Yeah. Spot on. Awesome. Thanks again, Goran, and thank you so much to all our Lightning Talk presenters. Everyone did a fantastic job. And again, I just want to reiterate how much I've learned over the course of the last 25, 30 minutes or so. So coming up next, we have a interactive quiz, right? So this is where everyone who's joining us via the live stream will have the chance to interact, test their knowledge, maybe compete a little bit for some glory. I think really that's the biggest prize of all that we can offer is the bragging rights, the glory, the ability to crow over any of these, the win that you will inevitably have for this interactive quiz, right? So we have 5 questions to go through. I believe it's 5 questions. There might be 1 or 2 more that have snuck into that. We are using a site called Menti, and you can see the link put up there as well. And we will also have another slide that will have a QR code that makes it very easy to join. In fact, I would recommend to everyone to use the QR code and to join on your mobile device. One other thing as well is I will say, keep in mind, pay attention to what's happening on your mobile device. There is a 2-second delay on the live stream, right? So for those that are competitive, pay attention to when you can answer the question on your phone. Don't listen to the live stream because we are coming to you from the past, right? You will already be too slow. We will also, within the leaderboard, it will show who gets it right, but more importantly, who answers these questions the quickest, right? So there's a little bit of added time pressure on that. And both me and Eric will be going through and covering the questions for you, but please pay attention to the quiz as it moves on your mobile device, or if you log in under a different screen or a different tab on your browser. Have I missed anything, Eric?
Yeah, no, that's good. So just to reiterate, go onto your mobile because that's the best way that you can do it. So just go to menti.com, open a browser on your mobile, and just enter the code 98682062. And as Ben said, follow along on your mobile because the faster you answer, the higher you go up on the leaderboard.
Cool. All righty. So hopefully everyone has had a chance to use that QR code to log in. I can see that we've already got a couple of people ready to go on this quiz. So the wonderful folks at the Cassandra World Party. Oh, and are we ready to go? We are. Here we go. Question 1 of 11. We've got 11 questions. Get set. What is the most current release of Apache Cassandra?
Ooh.
Oh, come on.
Is this a trick question?
Boom, time's up. Oh, there we go. All right. You got to be quick. And again, we're coming to you from the past. So pay attention to your mobile phone, people. When was Cassandra 4.0 GA announced? Ooh.
Oh, I know it was last year. It was a World Party last year.
Hey, wow. I would have had to look at the dev list to figure that out, and no one's got time for that in this intense of a playoff. So here we go. Question 3 of 11. Ready, set, go. How frequently does the Cassandra project issue minor or major releases? Oh, this is debatable. Isn't it?
Depends on when we're talking about.
Yearly, yeah, to be honest, there's what we try to do and what actually happens.
Yeah, so we're trying to stick to a yearly cadence now, so that whatever is already on the train, it just gets released instead of waiting for everything to hit the train.
Spot on. We want to get that code out and into your hands as quickly as possible. Next one, are we ready? Why was Cassandra initially developed by Facebook? Ooh, spicy. I think I know this one. And so did everyone else. That's awesome response rate. Great work to everyone. I hope you all beat us based on how quickly you responded. What year was the Apache Software Foundation founded? Oh, this is some ancient history.
Ooh, 1980, I don't think so.
Hey, there we go. There we go. I don't know. I think DARPANET was only just becoming a thing in 1980. What is the Cassandra community fuzz testing tool called? Well, this is a new one.
Ooh, Barry.
I think we should have called it Barry, don't you reckon? That would have been my choice, but Harry is a good name. Question 7. All right, we're past the midway. Get ready. Here we go. In which programming language is Apache Cassandra written? The best programming language from the 90s.
Is C star a thing?
Oh, there we go. Java for all of those who love your JVM tunables. What is a Cassandra enhancement proposal? Oh, this is getting into devless territory. Hey, there we
very
go.
well done.
Nice work. 8 out of 8 for everyone there. Question 9. Here we go. We're in the home stretch. How many talks are in the Cassandra track at ApacheCon in October? Ooh. Ooh.
It's a lot.
It's got to be more than all of this. Got to be more than that. Oh, here we go. 12. That's a good solid showing.
Actually, we did have a lot of submissions. It was a very, very difficult thing to come up with a short list because unfortunately we only had allocations for 6 talks per day, and we had a 2-day track. So just trying to cut it down. In fact, trying to cut it down to 24 and then 20 was just it was just painful. We just couldn't decide.
I think we need to do a takeover of ApacheCon next year and have multiple tracks. It can be the Apache Cassandra and ApacheCon conference next year. I think that's what we've got to go for. All right, second last question. Which of these actual talks you can watch at ApacheCon in October? Oh, here we go. What's the real one?
So it's secure by default. Apache Cassandra at Apple, Cassandra at Bloomberg.
All of the, hey, how good does that all look?
Nice.
A lot of content there, and I'm expecting everyone to have blog posts at the end of it as well, right, Eric?
Absolutely.
All right. Last but not least question. Here we go. Are you ready to use or contribute to Apache Cassandra? Come on, guys. Come on. Hey, there we go. There we go.
Everyone's a winner.
There we go. All right. Let's look at this leaderboard.
Well done.
Whoa. Congratulations, Joanna, Danielle, and Bill. 1, 2, 3. I would invite you to come up to the podium to collect your prize of unconditional glory and bragging rights, but unfortunately, you'll just have to receive all of those digitally today.
Just take a screenshot and share it on Twitter and LinkedIn.
Cool. All right. Well, I think that just about wraps everything up. I've had an absolute great day of sessions, and I hope that some of you also got to get along to some of the other sessions. I personally didn't, but Eric, I know that you managed to catch some of those other ones, and there were some good ones there as well, weren't there?
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. Looking forward to it. Yeah. And I reckon I was saying before that the last time we were in the same room together was, I think, all the way back to 2015. So hopefully we get together soon with the rest of all the participants here. Will I see you at ApacheCon?
I don't think I'll be in town for Apache Con. I will be around for AWS reInvent as well. If anyone who's going to be there, that's another. I know that's not an Apache event, but it is kind of a bit of a who's who of the zoo in the cloud space. So hopefully I'll see some folk that we know at reInvent later this year.
Well, just between us, don't tell anyone, right? But I think a little birdie told me that there's a Cassandra Summit coming up pretty soon. But that's just between us. Don't tell anyone.
All right. I will definitely keep that locked down tight and tell no one.
I'm the key.
Awesome. So thank you again, everyone that's joined. If this is the first time that you've kind of done anything related to Apache Cassandra, or the second time, or the third time, or you've been kind of involved for a long time, please go to cassandra.apache.org. We're constantly updating that with new content, documentation refreshes, blog posts, you name it. There's new content going up there. There's plenty of ways for everyone to contribute. It doesn't just have to be code and features and pull requests. We're always looking for people to help out in the community, answer questions, help improve documentation, and even answering questions on Stack Overflow or Twitter, or putting out the good word about Apache Cassandra, anything you can kind of do. And of course, if this is the first time you've heard about it, go to cassandra.apache.org, hit that download button, and start playing around with it locally on your machine. Thanks for joining. We do also have a Slack channel that I would invite everyone to join. Eric is super involved in that space as well. And so, you can have a chat with everyone, and, it's a great place to meet the broader community.
Thanks, Ben. Thanks everyone for joining, and thanks to all the speakers. Hopefully we'll see you in person sometime soon.
Awesome. Alrighty. Thanks all. Catch you later.